What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And today we have a very, very special guest, the one,
the only,
the queen herself, Kelly Ripa.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us. It is truly an honor for us to have you here.
I am honored. I'm the honored one. It's like listening to you introduce me, I felt like I was listening to your podcast.
Aww.
Well, you will be at some point when you listen to this. So we're going to be going through some questions with Kelly, get her to spill some tea on her new role on Riverdale, chat some Daddy Hiram love, and all that fun stuff. So make sure you guys stick around for that. So Kelly, first and foremost, you're usually on the other side as the interviewer. How does it feel to be on the other side of it?
It's I have to say a little strange. Like I have so many questions for you two, but I will. I've been told that I need to relinquish that. I need to let it go. But yeah, it does feel, I'm not going to lie, it does feel strange. I always think that I'm a very, I don't want to use the word boring guest, but I don't think I'm as good a guest as other people. So I apologize.
No,
I don't think that at all.
We're like smiling ear to ear over here, so we're super excited.
And we heard you, actually. I got to listen to your podcast that you did with Anna Ferris over the summer, and you did a fantastic job. I thought you did really, really good. So
that was fun. That was really fun because that was I had never been to the
San Diego
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And that was. It was crazy. I've in my life, I've never seen anything like that. It was a really extraordinary event.
It's definitely on my bucket list. I really want to go JLAG.
Yeah.
We need to go next year.
You guys should definitely go, and you should do your podcast from there. I felt bad being there because I really didn't have to work at all. I did Anna's podcast, and then I just waited to do my panel, and that was it for me.
Yeah.
Whereas all of the actors on all of the shows, they just go they start at 5 a.m. and they end at 7 o'clock at night, and they just go from interview to interview to interview to interview. I felt really guilty.
But your panel was amazing, and that's still a big thing.
Yeah, you did such a great job.
It was fun. I relied on you two a lot for your questions. I hope you were proud of me.
Yes, we were very proud of you. No, you did fantastic.
It was fun. I have to say, it was really fun. I had an advantage because Mark works on the show.
Right.
Everybody is very warm and welcoming to me, and they know that I'm not going to hit them with some sort of shenanigan question
for sure.
that is just clickbait. You know what I mean? So I think everybody felt really good and comfortable up there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back into it. We just wanted to wish you a happy new year from Recap Rewind.
Hey, to you too.
How were the holidays?
They were great. It was really nice because Mark had, a winter break, which was his schedule is always changing at the drop of a hat at a moment's notice. So we never know what we're going to get, but we got a nice, a full 2-week break.
Amazing.
And we spent the first half of it in New York with our families and just being tourists in our own city, which was really fun.
That's so cute.
I have to say.
That's awesome.
And then we went to Colorado and we went skiing, and it was beautiful and it was gorgeous. And
that's awesome.
A lot of people don't know this about Hiram Lodge. He's an expert skier.
Yeah.
That's
really awesome.
What?
He's an amazing
He does
skier.
all the black diamonds and all the...
He does.
Damn.
He does all of
That's
that,
crazy.
yeah.
What was your fave gift this year from Daddy or the kids?
He's so good at this. He got me, it's going to probably sound not the most romantic gift, but I really wanted it, and he knows I really wanted it. He got me this incredible biography on Frederick Douglass.
Aww.
Oh, okay.
That's thoughtful.
Everybody's like, is that an 8,000-page book?
Yeah.
I go, well, it's Frederick Douglass.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Where's the interest? Where does that come from? I guess it's a personal,
I love to read about history, and I had read so many great reviews about this biography in particular.
Okay.
And it wasn't even something I asked him for. I just sort of spoke out loud about it more than once, and he on his own went and picked up the book and wrapped it and the whole thing. And it was like a very nice surprise.
So since we're in the new year, I wanted to talk really quickly about New Year's resolutions. So I know that usually people, including myself, always want to hit up the gym for the New Year's resolutions, but it doesn't seem like you usually have that problem. So do you have any other resolutions for this year?
Yeah. My resolution is the same every year. My problem is answering emails in a timely fashion.
Okay.
I am so bad at it. I become so overwhelmed by it.
That's a good resolution.
It seems manageable. It seems doable in theory, but the reality is it's the same resolution every year, and I still can't seem to get it done.
So before we specifically talk about the role, I just wanted to talk about the fact that you're back doing scripted television, at least for this Riverdale special. The last time that I saw you, actually both of us saw you, was on that hilarious episode that you did for Broad City, which was such a great episode to watch. And I remember watching it and being like, does Kelly Ripa really live like this?
I kept saying that too.
What is it like getting back into the actress saddle for Riverdale?
Well, I've got to tell you, it's really one of those things that now that my kids are older, they are so self-sufficient that and my husband lives in Vancouver, I realize that I have a lot of free time on my hands. It has allowed me to go back to what I know, which is acting.
What are some of the big differences you find with scripted television and then having the daily talk show?
Well, the daily talk show is really Ryan and I are so simpatico, and we are so good at reading each other's thoughts that it doesn't feel like work at all.
Yeah.
It really does not feel like work. Bringing a character to life and putting the thought process of the creator into your brain and trying to act and hearing words that I did not make up come out of my mouth now seems strange. Back when I started hosting the talk show, just ad-libbing my words, that sounded strange.
Right.
Like my own voice coming out of my own mouth, not in character, sounded strange. And now it's the complete opposite. Now I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm a character. I should not be doing this the way Kelly, would do it. I should do this the way Miss Mulwray would do it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But it was like, it's two parts of your brain. You just have to turn it on and off. And when, it's like with anything, you just sort of forget how it works initially.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess in that same vein, you were talking about scripted versus doing things that are kind of more just your personality. We were talking kind of offline about how the way that media is changing so much now. The way that people consume content is so different. And we saw that you started a new web series with your friend Rachel Harris, Heads and Faces.
Yes.
So could you tell us a little bit about how that came about? And
yeah, it's the funniest. I mean, this story is like, this came to be when Rachel moved back to Los Angeles. So when she up and moved, we started FaceTiming each other. It started out with us sending videos to each other because, something ridiculous would happen or something so absurd in our lives would happen that it wouldn't be enough to text it or to leave a message. We would have to show each other our outrage face to face. So we started video chatting, and one day I was video chatting with Rachel, and my producing partner, Albert Bianchini, was in the bathroom. I was getting ready. We had to go to some industry thing, and I was putting makeup on, and she was getting ready, and she was putting makeup on, and Albert said, "This is so ridiculous. This is a TV show." And so that's sort of how it came to be, and so we shot like this little teaser, which by shooting a teaser, I mean we literally edited an actual conversation we had, and we showed it to Facebook Watch, and they loved it.
That's awesome.
And so that's basically how the show was born, and our motto is, it's 8 minutes, so you'll watch.
That's true.
That's our commercial, because it's really meant for your subway ride.
Right.
It's like you watch it on your phone, and we cover, believe it or not, we get deep.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just the bullet points of deepness.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think it's such a cute, adorable idea. You guys have such a obvious like natural chemistry since you guys are so close.
Yeah. She makes me laugh more than any other person on the planet. I mean, she truly is one of the funniest people I've ever
she's
met.
Hilarious. I think it's such a fantastic new outlet that you guys have started to experiment with. And I guess just to follow up with that, you know, like I was saying, this new generation is really, it seems like they're always I'm sure you can tell with your kids, are always like consuming new content. They always are hungry for so much more and different avenues and different ways to get it. So something like a web series, even things like podcasts, what are your thoughts on kind of moving, because I know that you have been doing this live show, and now you're doing kind of scripted television again for a little bit. Are there any other kind of new avenues that you'd love to explore in the near future?
I mean, I think it's like everything is always evolving. So I do like digital platforms because I know, like you said, I have kids. I see the way they consume content. Mm-hmm. My daughter I don't think she's ever watched an episode of Riverdale on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always been through an app on her computer.
Right.
And she watches other things. Like one of my daughter's favorite shows is Beverly Hills 90210.
Like the original one?
The original one.
No.
What?
Oh,
she thinks that the other one is the original one, and that they are making. And she just heard that they're making a new Beverly Hills 90210, and I go, no, that would be the original. You've been watching the non-original.
That's so funny.
But she doesn't understand. Like Luke Perry, I was like, no. Luke Perry, you don't understand.
Yeah. Come on, Lola.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, Lola, get with the program.
So yeah, that's an interesting conversation.
We like putting things on digital platforms as well as developing our own content. We love, I think we're developing two scripted comedies right now out of our production company, Melojo.
And
so to me, that's what I really enjoy doing the most. You know what I mean? I like developing. Like, I don't want to be on camera forever.
Right.
And I really do enjoy the development process, and I like watching other people to fulfill their dreams. I really do. Like, I like discovering talent. I like working with people I know. I've made so many incredible friends over the years that I've worked with that, quite frankly, I don't think have ever gotten their fair share of attention or work. And I like exploring the possibilities of collaborating with people I know are amazing and yet have not burst out.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. We wanted to talk to you about that a little bit later as well, Melojo.
Yeah, of course.
But before we get into that, let's talk some Riverdale.
Yes.
The Riverdale stuff. So before we get into that properly, we just wanted to quickly mention how we got here in the first place. So our man, but really your man, Mark Consuelos.
We could say our man. I'm very, very generous. I share him.
To share. Okay. So he found us during the last season of Riverdale, and because of that, we have this amazing chance to talk to you. So shout out to M. Sway for the connect.
Thanks, Mark.
And it's been a few seasons of Mark on Riverdale now. It's a second season on the show. And even though we, as Riverdale fans, love seeing Hiram Lodge on the screen, we know that you guys have been doing this long distance thing for a bit of time. And I know you mentioned that you have had to do this a few times in your guys' relationship as well. But how have you guys adjusted being away from each other for these long periods of time?
Like I said, it really is something that we're quite used to. And I think that if you are not we have a great marriage and a great friendship, and we have tremendous respect for each other. We've been married almost 23 years, and I can honestly say he is my favorite person I have ever met in my life. As you know, he is incredibly smart and talented and handsome and all of that, but he's really kind and generous and so funny. When I met him, he made me laugh more than any other person I had ever met before him. Like, he just really made me like belly laugh. And he's just a lovely fellow. Having said that, when you work with an actor and when you're married to an actor or dating an actor, you know that your life is sort of unconventional. So 90% of our marriage has been with him living and working outside of the house, like living in other places, working in other places. And we're always lucky that that my job allows me time off. You know, we have vacation time built into the contract. So we've always been able to, as a family, go to some pretty exciting places wherever he's working and really get to see America and get to see the world because of these jobs. So we've been very, very fortunate. And for us, because we are independent people and individuals in our own right, we are separate people as well as being a married couple. So I think that for us is really what helps us through, like, not seeing each other for a few weeks at a time. So, you know, it's like it makes the time that we see each other like more precious and more valuable to us. So we spend it being incredibly kind to each other and really dialing into each other and catching up instead of like sitting on our phones or you know, like we spend it in a way that matters.
So talking a little bit more about your acting career, you've been pretty versatile in your career. You've done drama, you've done comedy, and even this show is a little bit of both. But what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy drama? Do you enjoy comedy? I
love, you know, I did a live sitcom for 3 years. We taped it in front of a live studio audience. And I have to tell you, making an audience laugh is just, there's nothing quite like it. It feeds your soul. I just love comedy. I think there's nothing as great as comedy. That's why I like Riverdale so much, because not only am week after week, I am like gobsmacked at how talented this cast is and how talented the writing is. But it's like, it's the singing, it's the dancing, it's dark and scary and twisted, and then right when you don't expect it, I'm laughing. You know what I mean? I'm like, I am out loud screaming laughing. And it's got everything. I think that's why it's been so successful and so popular.
Absolutely.
Is because it's got something for everybody and across all age demographics. It really is quite remarkable.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about your role, Mrs. Mulwray. So we don't know too much, but how did it come to be? How did it even start?
All roles in my acting career have trickled through my husband.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. It really, I often say, would I even have an acting career if not for Mark? But Mark said to me, Roberto wants to know if maybe you'll play my mistress. And I was like, what? And it was on the heels of Michael playing Mark.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, and I mean it. I'm like, I fear the Consuelos family might become the 3-day-old fish of Riverdale. Like, you don't want to like overstay your welcome.
Sure.
And I don't know. I just pictured a sexy person playing his mistress.
I mean, come on, girl. You got to give yourself a little bit more credit.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, I was like, shouldn't Marisol play your mistress? He's like, Marisol plays my wife.
Yeah.
And so you know, so in my mind, I was so honored and so blown away at the concept that anybody would even consider me mistress material. So I said yes, and it was truly like that simple. But it was so funny. You knew my character's name before I did.
Oh, really?
Because somehow, like, I've got to tell you, Riverdale fandom.
We are crazy.
They know things. I found pictures of myself in character that I was like, that's an amazing picture. Where did that come from?
Oh my God.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah. Were there any questions you asked Roberto about Mrs. Mulwray and like how you were supposed to play her?
No, it was once I got the character breakdown, it was all pretty. He tells you everything.
Okay.
That I need. That it's like everything's on a need to know basis.
Right.
Really.
Got it.
Right.
So it's really just I'm just a plot point, I think.
Okay.
Got it.
If I may, I'm always so afraid that I'm going to give something away. But there's a story detail that is revealed through my character.
Okay.
But it was so funny it was one of those moments where I found myself watching and listening like a fan watching the show, and then I was like, snap out of it, you're now in the show. So I was
You're like, so what am I gonna do next?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And then I thought, no, girl, you're in the show, pull yourself together.
Yeah. So I have a feeling, and I don't know if you can let us know or tell us, but I have a feeling that the character of Mrs. Mulwray is slightly adapted from a character in Roman Polanski's 1974 film Chinatown. Can you comment further, or you just can't say anything?
Really? Oh my goodness, that is amazing. I cannot comment, and that's an amazing. Okay. That's an amazing. Wait, how do you know about Chinatown?
Google. Google, and I think Roberto always throws to these great iconic films. So my first instinct was like, this must be from a film somewhere, and then I sort of found that. And then I read the description. I'm not going to tell our fans what it is. They can go and read that. But I told JLAG, and he was like, oh, my God, that totally is.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, it's a very good.
I don't want to get you into trouble, so
no. I'm just saying it's a very interesting use of the internet.
Yes.
And now I gotta go watch Chinatown.
Yeah, right after this.
But by the way, everybody should watch Chinatown just anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
So, if you could describe Mrs. Mulwray in one word, what would it be?
She's 15 years younger. No, I'm just kidding. I would describe her as steely. She's steely.
Ooh.
She, even if she's rattled on the inside, she doesn't show that she's rattled. You never see that she's rattled.
So she's tied up with Hiram, as we kind of know or assume. And we've recently noticed like a huge swell of haterade for Daddy Hiram Lodge this season. How has it been watching Mark become such a huge villain on TV?
It's so funny because, without bad guys, there is no story.
It's
just
so
that
true.
simple. It's like I always go, because Mark is always like, oh my God, I'm so rotten, I'm so evil. But he's such a good person, and he plays such a good bad guy. He always has. Like whenever he's played a bad guy, it's always been my favorite role for him.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the opposite of everything he is.
Right.
But I always go back to like I'm a Dallas fan from day one, from the 70s.
Right.
And like without JR, the most evil of bad guys of all time, there was no story.
Right.
It's like even when they shot him, they were like, we better get him better fast.
Yeah,
because
like sure.
It's like it's the evil characters that move the story along.
Absolutely.
And without conflict, there is no there's no story.
There's no drama.
It's like you need to have a rub. You need to have a villain to root for the good guy.
For sure. Absolutely. And I think that that's something that we also kind of experienced watching the show, that there's been a lot of people who are like, let's just kill him off. Let's get rid of this guy. I'm so over his character. But really, when you think about it, it's exactly what you were saying. As soon as you kill off that character, then what?
Then what? Yeah, then you go, then what?
He's honestly so much fun to be the antagonist of the show.
And to me, I feel like he's a little bit of an anti-hero, where like he plays, I mean, he's still a good dad, a little. I feel like he's coming in and out of it.
I try to put it into our conversations whenever we have the podcast and say, look, he's really trying with Veronica in this scene. But
he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy for the right reasons sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes in his mind, I mean, and that's the thing. I think that it's so funny. I was just talking to Jeffrey Dean Morgan about this.
Oh yeah.
From The Walking Dead,
Right,
and he was laughing. He goes. So is Mark tired of people telling him to drop dead on the street?
Oh my God.
He played a bad guy for so long.
Because he's
I go. I don't think it, he hasn't internalized it yet. And he goes. It's that thing. It's like. It's only a bad guy if you look at it from the good guy's perspective.
Correct.
Right?
Yes,
it's like
absolutely.
the bad guy thinks he's doing the right thing.
Right.
In his mind, he's doing all the right things.
Exactly. Yeah. When we got the chance to talk to Mark, he kind of told us this guy's not just evil for being evil. He's got a reason for it because it makes it more believable.
Of course.
He's protecting his family and what he's worked hard for. Like
exactly.
that's his motivation for everything.
Preach.
He's always protecting his family and what he worked hard for, and he's not going to give it up for anybody.
Yeah. He's daddy. That's all
He's
it is.
daddy. He is daddy. We can all agree he is daddy.
Yes. So you guys got to film in Vancouver and you got to see the set. Did Mark or Michael give you any advice before heading there?
Mark was very, how should I put it? He was like a proud, I don't want to use the word daddy, but he was like he came to work with me and I said, you don't have to come to work with me. It's fine.
Held your hand through it all.
Right. I was like, this is not my first set, and don't worry, I know everybody. But he came to work with me. He was very diligent about introducing me to everyone and taking me around and making me feel comfortable. And plus, Marisol was there. Like, I had my girls were there. I got to see everybody. It was really nice. And, the sets really are quite spectacular.
Right.
And I felt like I was walking into the wilderness, even though I was on a set indoors. It still felt like I was somehow, because that that fog, that smoke that you see on Riverdale, that smoke is like pumped everywhere. It is like you walk in and I'm like, I can't see where I'm going.
It's like a haze.
Yeah, it's like a haze. Yeah, it's a nice, and which I like. I like a hazy, I kept thinking, why can't we have haze on the set of Live? That would make morning so much more
foggy.
Tolerable. Yeah.
That's funny.
But it was really cool. It was like just seeing the wardrobe department and, having the trailers are really cool. It's all it's just like a really well-run production.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It seems like that.
I can totally imagine. So like you mentioned, you and Mark have befriended a lot of the cast members since last season. What was it like seeing them on set and then working with the rest of the cast?
Well, I only work with I work with two people.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I was joking the entire time. I was like, well, you're about to see something you've never seen before. I don't know what. But it was really, it was just really fun and easy. And like I said, I'm really in awe of how talented this group is. They really are. They just are so talented. Yeah. It's endlessly entertaining for me as a viewer. And the only downside, like I said, was trying to remind myself to stop watching what was happening and to be in the moment.
To be in it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm such a viewer, and like I said, I was a viewer before Mark joined the cast.
Right.
So it was hard for me to not watch.
Yeah.
I just kept saying, "Okay, you're in the scene, so stop.
Put your
watching
face on.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the popcorn down." They are. I have to say, as a cast, they are the loveliest. They really are. Like I watched the way. I sat back and I watched at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
The way they treat their fans, and they are fantastic to the fans of their show. Mm-hmm. And I think that really matters. It's not always that way.
Right.
But that they are really terrific to their fan base, and I think that says something about them.
For sure.
So, like you mentioned, you're buddies with, Marisol Nichols, who plays Hiram Lodge's wife on the show, Hermione. And you did mention that you are only in a scene with a couple of cast members, but we're hoping, you don't have to confirm, but we're hoping that it might be her, because we're thinking maybe there's a little cat fight, a little showdown between the mistress and the wife.
I can confirm, nor can I deny. I can say nothing.
Okay. But we were going to say that if that is the case, has Joaquin already given you some boxing pointers?
Oh, you know what? That would be, he has not. But, any way to put the rest of the family to work. Let's face it.
He becomes the online trainer.
Yeah.
I do love a televised girl fight. I don't know why.
Right?
I'm so anti girl fight in real life, but one on TV to me is just like, again, it goes back to my love of Dynasty and Dallas and
100%.
Falcon Crest, when those women would rip off each other's shoulder pads and just go at it. It was my lifeblood. You know what I mean?
Take the earrings off, yeah.
And I know that Marisol and I could do the best girl fight of all time.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be amazing. So we got to see Michael this season play young Hiram in the flashback episode. Just curious if Joaquin or Lola, if they want to do any acting
in the near future.
You know what? Joaquin was in the school play this year. And
we saw Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah.
He was in Romeo and Juliet. And I've got to tell you, and maybe, listen, I said this to Mark, and he goes, you don't say. Because I go, Mark, I got to tell you, my eye went right to him. And he goes, oh, really? As his mom, your eye went right to him?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's true. I guess all the parents' eyes go right to their kids. But they're nice. They're nice kids, I will say that. They really are very sweet. Michael loved acting.
Nice.
Knowing the cast and knowing everybody beforehand
really
made it very, they took care of him.
That's awesome. Okay, so going back to Mrs. Mulwray, if you can tell us anything, what can we expect, who or what should we watch out for in that episode?
Gosh, I'm trying to think what to say. Somebody puts together... Oh, yeah.
If you can't answer, it's totally fine.
I'm not sure if I can answer anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
She does. I will say this. Miss Mulwray has the most adorable gun I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a gun person.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't ordinarily disclose that, but then I think Riverdale released a still of me holding it up, so I felt like it was safe to talk about.
You're in the trailer for it,
Yes. And also, you're going to love this one. In the promo of the episode, we see that there's like a fancy egg in the scene.
Yeah.
So just jumping off of what you were talking about the other day on live with the Kylie Jenner egg challenge. Can we somehow use that?
Yes, I think that egg should be the most liked egg.
Exactly. Yeah. We're totally gonna do that.
So should we start on Instagram? Do you need to let Kylie Jenner know that we're doing it, or?
Yeah. No, I think we should just do it. By the way, wait till you see this egg.
Oh my God.
Because the egg that's like getting all of the love right now is just a plain brown egg.
So
okay,
we'll do it for you.
Yours is fancy. Yours looked fancy.
Hashtag Kelly's egg.
Yeah.
So moving through it, who does K-Rips think that the Gargoyle King is? You're into this mystery as a viewer. I guess you can answer maybe.
It's so funny. I have theorized about the Gargoyle King. I mean, I keep thinking that the Gargoyle King is like a figment of everybody's imagination.
Right. Yeah. I think people have been going back and forth between the two because even the way they shoot it when he shows up, it's very like mystical. There's colors. It looks like there's a light show going on in the background.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I'm like, is that a hallucination?
Right.
It is because I don't want to bring up my soap opera days again, but there was a soap opera plot point where Mateo, played by Mark Consuelos, a.k.a. Hiram Lodge, strangled my mother and threw her overboard in the boat in the middle of a group hallucination on some there was like a drug slipped into everybody's water at this party, and it made everybody do crazy things.
So much drama.
Oh my God.
Spoiler alert, she was. Anyway.
I guess there's no real way of knowing right now. We tried to theorize, too, who it could be, and we have no clue at all.
Well, I kept asking Mark, which, by the way, asking Mark anything is like, you cannot crack him. He can stand up under torture. I was like, you're the gargoyle. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you can tell me. I was like, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody. And he knows me so well that he just stares at me. He goes, why do you think I'm the gargoyle?
Yeah.
Okay. And I go, because it has to be you. And I honestly, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think even with the Black Hood, apparently they kept that a secret to like almost all of the cast members until the very end. So.
Oh, well, I was convinced he was the Black Hood. I mean,
every season.
By the way, I was telling my friends, I'm like, listen, I was like, you didn't hear it from me, but he's the Black Hood. And they were like, oh my God, he told you that? And I was like, no, but I just know. I know.
It's my husband. I know.
I know when he's hiding things from me.
Funny.
But I mean, I was convinced. I was really convinced.
So leaving Riverdale, right? I think that concludes our Riverdale questions.
I think that's Riverdale questions.
We were just curious to talk about Oscar season.
I mean, it's just around the corner.
It's just around the corner. And we just wanted to know, Sway, K-Rips, are you guys making an appearance on the red carpet?
We will be on the red carpet. Yes, we will.
Did you guys have a chance to watch any of the nominated movies yet?
Yeah, I've watched most of them. There's a couple I haven't seen yet because we were like waiting to be with each other to see them. Yeah. I really love. Oh gosh, it's so hard. It's so hard to pick performances that you love. But I love Regina King's performance in If Beale Street Could Talk.
Okay.
I just think that she's incredible. She's just like, and more so than just that one film, it's like her overall body of work. Yeah. And then...
Did you watch A Star Is Born?
No, I haven't. That's one I haven't seen yet. Okay. I haven't seen A Star Is Born yet because we're waiting to be with each other to see it. But it's so funny because we're shooting something for our after Oscar show, and they're like, you have to watch A Star Is Born if we're going to pull off our thing. Yeah, because we're doing a thing. And
are you guys going to do a duet?
Yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, you guys, you figured it out. A lot of people don't know that I have the voice of an angel. It's not just my speaking voice that's this amazing. You should hear my singing voice.
Singing voice. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. So thanks so much, Kelly. But before we let you go, we wanted to know if you could play a quick game with us, maybe?
Of course.
So the game is called Slang Specifics, and we know that you're into your IG slang game, and we wanted to test some of your knowledge on some of our favorite slang words and see if you know them. If you're into it.
Okay, I'm so bad at this, but I can't wait. This is exciting.
Make Lola proud.
Yeah. Or humiliate her like I often do. Right.
All right, so the first one is getting lit.
Oh, getting lit. Is that like getting drunk?
Yes. So there's two different versions. There's getting lit as in getting drunk, or it's lit as in like it's describing a great
cool,
situation.
Right?
Yeah.
Lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the party's awesome. It's lit.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well done.
So the next one is on roads.
Wait, on what?
On roads.
On roads?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stumper. I didn't even know this one. NB threw it in, and I was like, I don't know this word.
On roads. On roads. Does that mean you're smart? No.
So the meaning is I'm on the way. Like, for example, my brother would say, I'm on roads, fam. Be there in 5.
Oh, on roads.
So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm on roads.
Instead of like.
What did you think?
I thought like roads as in Rhodes Scholar, and like on point, I was like, oh, on roads.
Well, let's turn that one.
He's on roads.
Let's turn that one into something. That sounds pretty good.
It should be something.
See, back in the day, we used to say, I'm gonna scoop you up.
I like that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna
scoop you up in 5.
Yeah.
So the next one is salty.
Oh, like when a person has an attitude.
Yeah, like being bitter.
Right.
Why are you so salty?
Okay, the next one is, and I think you're gonna get this. It's ship.
Oh, ship. It's like a relationship.
Yeah.
I learned this from my husband, who learned this from being on Riverdale.
Exactly. Do you and Mark have a ship name?
What would our ship name be?
Melly?
Melly?
Melly.
Yeah, I guess Melly.
Or like Kark. I like Kark.
I don't like Kark. Kark is hard to pull off. Yeah, I like Melly.
So, speaking of ships, do you ship anybody on Riverdale specifically?
I do. I mean, here's my secret ship. You want to hear my secret ship? I call them Hiram's Wags, and I think that Hermione and Mrs. Mulwray should have a relationship.
Oh my God, into it.
And we'll call it Hooray.
Love it.
I love it. That's amazing.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, let's start that up too.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Yeah, I'm sure all the teenage fans are clamoring to see that.
to see the mistress storyline. I am. I mean, the next one is thirsty.
Thirsty is when you are desperate for like sexy, like when you are desperate for sexy images.
You got it.
Okay, the next one is throwing shade.
It's when you insult somebody.
Yeah.
The next one is spilling tea.
It's when you tell gossip.
That juicy gossip.
And the next one is shook.
It's when you are it's like you're I'm gonna use another word. It's like shock.
Yes.
But when you
the real word.
Right, it's the real word is shock. But everybody pronounces it shook now.
Yeah. Otherwise known as gagged or weave snatched.
Wig snatched is my favorite.
Yeah.
Wig snatch, I believe, comes from the early 90s.
Oh yeah, 100%. And probably drag queens for sure.
Yeah, of course. That's when there was a real wig snatch.
Yeah.
100%. Extra.
Extra, my daughter has referred to me as extra for years, and I thought that extra was great until recently. People were like, extra means it's not great. Extra is when you're like a pain in the ass.
Too much.
Can I say that?
Yeah. Okay, for the last one, it's glow up.
Oh, glow up is when you make yourself pretty?
Yeah. That works.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually it's from like going from like ugly duckling to like
pretty
swan. So it's like, oh geez, have you seen Becky lately? She got the glow up since the high school.
Something like, amazing.
Yeah,
something like
that. We're using, you know what? We're using it differently at the talk show. They're like, "Oh, you look glow up. You're all glowed up," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
That works.
Thinking,
yeah.
They're just, it's like resurrecting the dead because it's a morning TV and everybody's basically crawling out of their coffin.
Yeah.
Are there any ones that you've been using recently that are on your roster?
I'm trying to think. We use everything I say. My daughter is like, "No, Mom, no."
Please stop.
Yeah, everything is no. Let me think. What's a good one? I mean, I still use dope, and my daughter's like, "Stop." And then I said the other day something was fat. I go, "It's fat, right?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Ew, what did you just say?" And I go, "That's fat, with a PH." She goes, "I know what you meant." She goes, "It's gross to hear you talk like that."
She doesn't understand like the old school slang versus the new school
She doesn't,
slang.
right. She's like, it seems so prehistoric to her.
Yeah.
It's as if a dinosaur came falling out of my mouth.
Okay, so Kelly, that was amazing.
Thank you so much.
I can't believe this happened.
Yeah.
I'm like still kind of in shock that we got to have a chance to talk to you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Anytime, and thank you so much. Really, I appreciate it. For my stickers, my pop socket, you don't even understand. You guys are the best. Really the best.
So welcome. It's the least we could do. But you're literally working all day, every day. Do you have any downtime that you're looking forward to? Maybe running away from the snow in New York?
As a matter of fact, I have a couple of days coming up off, and I'm taking a girls' trip with one of my very best girlfriends, and wait for it, Mark Consuelos.
Awesome.
That'll be fun.
Because he happens to have like a couple of days off too.
Nice.
If you count the weekend. So he's going to come and meet us for our girls' trip for like 2 days.
Sweet.
And then go back to Vancouver. So
That's awesome.
So I will get to see him in a little bit, like a nice a little break.
That's great. So really quickly, we know that you guys are super busy with Milo Joe Productions. What can we expect from you guys in the coming year?
Well, we've got a couple of scripted series that we're working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
One is called Work Wife.
Oh, yes.
Which is based on basically my relationship with Ryan Seacrest.
Right, right.
It really is like the two of us have a relationship that is just it spellbinds people. They're like, the two of you seem like siblings, but
funny.
You can also read each other's thoughts. And so our friend Michael Ian Black, who I worked with on Ed, which was a show that was around before you were born, he is writing. He's writing that it's like a sitcom as we speak. It's actually like a single camera comedy.
Ooh,
and then we have a multi-camera called The Gomez Way, which is about a Mexican-American family with a strict sort of code that centers around the patriarch of the family and all of sort of the nouveau things that he's had to deal with,
right.
Raising children that don't necessarily have his like old school mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just the same stuff that we've been working on, you know.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're doing trying to do some more episodes of Heads and Faces on Facebook Watch and all of that stuff. So it's keeping us busy, I will say that.
That's great.
That's really good.
So
yeah, that's the end of the podcast for us, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks again, Kelly. You
Thank
are the
you.
best.
You're the best. I'm a big fan. I'll talk to you next time.
And for our listeners, thank you so much for sticking around on this very special episode. I want to take the time to thank our patrons of the episode, our lit rewinders, Tina N, Namas, Sarge, Serena, and Kylie. And our mommy rewinders, we got Becca, Sarah, and Tamala. Thanks so much, guys.
And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you'll get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive content, contests, and updates, and exclusive clips from this interview.
And also make sure you check us out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and Facebook. Make sure you guys stay connected to join the conversation. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.